Big Balls Bob. Not to be confused with Tiny Balls Todd.
I do have a body. It's very fantastic. More of a temple, really, than a body.
I can't tell if he's doing a bit or not.
I'm glad you brought that point up because
Todd's a pussy.
We got to start putting our guests on at like 8 so that people actually watch the rest of the show.
Dan talks about killing babies. Todd and I talk about making babies. There's a big difference. It's right next to Todd's OnlyFans. I'm a below average teacher. I'm a dumbass, and I'm sorry.
The first time you've been let out of mom's basement, right?
Oh, no, I'm still in mom's basement, actually.
I hate you guys so much.
I'm going to throw these two guys into the screen so that if I die, they can carry on the legacy of crap that is this show.
Green Bay Packer fans, we are officially ready for Packer football. Less than an hour away now from kickoff in Jacksonville. Packers, Saints, week 1. Todd is very clearly ready.
Yeah.
The rest, Jimmy and I are trying to play catch up to the swag that Todd brings into the show. But I hope you guys are already watching. Hope that you're subscribing on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well at Game On WI. And on Twitter as well, make sure you get your predictions in for the game today on the Game On Wisconsin Twitter. But gentlemen, Jimmy, Todd,
Yes.
It's the Lombardi's Bar Boys, week number 1 pregame. How the hell are you feeling?
Dude, I feel amazing. Today has gone by so slow. Like, I check the clock every 2 minutes, it seems, just waiting for it to be 3 o'clock.
And it's still not. It's awful. I do not like afternoon games. I wish they could have played this game at 10 o'clock. Like,
Just London time.
Yeah.
We wake up and they're already going.
London
Yep.
time, yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, it was weird, like kind of driving in today. I'm down with the family. We're out here on the deck enjoying the beautiful weather for a couple more weeks. And it wasn't until like about 11:30 noon I even felt like it was Sunday, and that there was actually an NFL game going on today. But man, now that things have kicked off, it's starting to feel a bit more real, but it won't feel real until I see them run out of the tunnel there.
Yeah, I woke up early with the kids and then just I turned on NFL Network right away. Just watched the same repeated stuff on that for like 2 hours until Fox started doing their pregame show. And I started watching that. Like, I don't know. There's only so many times I can just hear them say the same stuff. And every hour they had to talk about Aaron Rodgers and the drama of the offseason. I'm just ready for just real football content to be there so we don't just have to keep revisiting the same shit over and over.
Yeah, the first thing I saw on pregame today when I turned it on was talking about where Aaron Rodgers is going to be. Like, he's here. He's here.
Right.
The season's starting. Let's focus on this. Worry about that other shit in several months. Let's go bring the trophy home.
Dude, I could not sorry, I saw Jacob's comment. I was about to say something. What the hell is Todd wearing?
It's called fashion, Jacob. Look it up.
I feel like people should just expect them to come in here and you have just a weird outfit on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm amped up. Jeez.
Sorry, I like the Packers. I was watching the Fox one, like I said, and I always still feel bad for Erin Andrews whenever she has to interview Aaron Rodgers. Because I feel like it's just always awkward when you have to talk to an ex, let alone on TV in front of everybody else.
Wait, what?
Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Andrews, didn't they used to date?
I don't know. That was
I don't
confirmed,
what?
Jimmy.
Oh,
I don't think that was. No, I think you're making that up.
No, well, maybe I just wanted them to date because they would have made a gorgeous couple. I don't know.
They
Just
would have made
matchmaking.
beautiful children together.
Yeah, just like Todd and any woman.
This is the pregame you get when you bring Lombardi's Bar on for this. This is exactly the pregame that you get. There's no question about it. Before we dive into to talking more about the specifics around today's game, breaking things down a little bit, let's look at the inactives for today, just released right before we came on. The big stuff is that Darius Smith and Tyler Lancaster both listed as active for today. They were the two that were listed as questionable on the most recent chart. And so having both of them, I mean, Za'Darius is the one that I think everyone was keeping an eye on. The notable
Yeah,
the
I wasn't
five-
concerned about Tyler Lancaster at all.
yeah, no, that I no offense to Tyler Lancaster, but I think if there
No,
was,
offense
if it was
intended.
one or the other,
Offense intended.
the 5 inactives for the Packers today. The rookie cornerback Shamar Jean-Charles is going to be inactive. Center Jake Hansen, Jack Heflin, who was having a pretty good camp, scratched today. Isaiah McDuffie, the other rookie, or one of the other rookies, the linebacker, and Vernon Scott, the safety, the second-year guy. That one feels kind of like it was the only one that was really out of health concern. Almost, he was really the only one that I feel like we kind of expected to not be active because of health.
Yeah, the rest of them were just healthy scratches, which hopefully, Helfin. I don't know if it's Heflin or Helfin. I switch it up every time I say it.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, honestly, I hope Big H. I hope he eventually takes Tyler's Lancaster spot, just because I feel like it'd be way more entertaining to have him on the field. And I just want a new person on there because it can't get as underwhelming as Tyler Lancaster right now.
Yeah, no, we've seen what those guys are capable of up front, and outside of Kenny Clark and a few flashes from Kingsley Kiki, it hasn't been much. Hopefully Slayton can get in there and move the needle a little bit and just moving some fresh blood through there. We've seen the ceiling of Lancaster and Lowry. I think we can safely assume new guys might be just as good, which might be a nice thing.
Makes you think of when you said you can literally get anybody off the street and you're not gonna downgrade.
I wasn't gonna say it like that, but yeah.
You already said it like that.
I am aware I wasn't going to say it like that today. It's game day. I'm not trying to bring everybody down. But since you said it, yeah.
Thanks for listening.
All right, so I mean, really, again, like with the inactives, the only one people were really caring about was Darius. He's going to be active. It's going to be basically the full complement of starters across the board, offense and defense for the Packers against the Saints. Who, again, with the inactives for them, really nobody of note. But the thing is with the Saints, it's they're really kind of lacking in a lot of star power outside of those two kind of couple that they had, like Jameis and Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan. Like there's really not much more, and so a lot of these scratches, it's guys that we don't really expect to kind of be contributing. Ian Book, a backup quarterback, Chase Hansen, linebacker, Jordan Miller, defensive back, Adam Prentice, the fullback, and Peyton Turner, a defensive end. So really, we're gonna get exactly who we thought for both teams. There's really not a surprise scratch or a surprise inactive for either team. It's going to be starters all across the board for everybody.
Yeah, which is great. It's going to be a good test for them. Last year, I think the team that had last year was better. Oh yeah. So we handled our business then. Granted, they didn't have Michael Thomas. We didn't have Devontae either, though, at that point. So those kind of cancel each other out. Hurts us more, honestly, because Devontae's top two, not two. But I don't know. I'm weirdly not nervous about this game, which then that makes me nervous. Like the sense of confidence is just killing me right now. But I think this is going to be a fun one for the Packers to kind of get the momentum rolling. And then next week against the Lions we see right now are just absolute trash. Besides Jamal Williams, of course. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a good, friend of the show. I think it's going to be a good couple weeks for the Packers to get momentum rolling until we start facing some tougher people. Yeah.
No, you brought up Michael Thomas. We should say that still not active for today on the PUP list, or is out for an extended period of time here. So we won't see Michael Thomas today. And I think that's I think let's talk about that. Let's start there with looking at the game with the Saints. Is the only person on the Saints team that scares you, offense or defense, Alvin Kamara? Because honestly, outside of that, Cam Jordan, we've seen this offense neutralize expert defensive pass rushers or defensive linemen in the past. They do it, at least twice a year against like Khalil Mack. So for me, Alvin Kamara is the one guy on this team, this Saints team, that really actually scares me.
Yeah. Cam Jordan does for the sense, not so much him, but for our offensive line not being 100%. So like that's where some of the worry comes in. But overall, from just pure talented standpoint, Alvin Kamara for sure. He single-handedly kept the Saints in the game with us last year. That and our inability to tackle anybody in like 10 attempts. But yeah, I'd say it's Kamara.
Yeah, they've got their defense isn't awful, but Kamara is definitely their biggest weapon. Without Michael Thomas, probably their only weapon aside from robot eyes, Jameis Winston. So
wait, why is he robot? Oh, because he got surgery.
Because he got the LASIK, you know.
You guys
the
want
LASIK surgery that's gone untreated for 15 years.
I had to record Pack-A-Day about right after our show last week, and then Maggie brought up how maybe his eyesight's going to be better this year after the LASIK. And then they were like, but honestly, who really cares about that? I want to be like, well, actually, Dan and Todd really fucking cared about it. They argued for about 15 minutes. So it's a hot topic.
Yeah, people are talking about it.
It's really the only thing you can say positive about Jameis Winston is that he got LASIK surgery and maybe his eyesight is better. We haven't really seen him in the starting role yet for the Saints. We don't know what he's going to do with a full complement of the Saints offense because you don't have Michael Thomas for this game. So we still don't know what Jameis Winston is going to be. I think if you're talking about X factors for this game, I know we said Alvin Kamara is the one person to worry about, but if X factor means like the thing that you're not exactly sure about, like the thing that is going to have the biggest swing on the game, you could argue Jameis Winston is the biggest factor in this game, because if he comes out and actually plays halfway decent, that's a completely different story than what they're going into right now when you just hear the name Jameis Winston,
Yeah. If he can cut his interceptions in half from his 30-30 season and keep his 5,000 yards, even getting close to 5,000 yards, like he's a above average probably top 10 quarterback at that point for this season, or has a potential to be. The big difference is when he was that quarterback, he had Mike Evans and Godwin. Now he has Callaway and Ty Montgomery, who's a former running back. So it's not.
Yo, don't talk bad about T-Money.
I'm so sorry.
He was a former wide receiver that became a running back and is now a former running back who is playing wide receiver. Okay, okay. Get it straight when you're talking about T-Money.
Yeah, my bad, dude.
Put some respect on his name, man. So for you guys, is there anybody on this Saints team that you would call an X factor, or have we really kind of exhausted everything we can expect out of this Saint? They bring in Bradley Roby, the cornerback from the Texans. He is somebody that we don't know for sure yet, but Bradley Roby, ever since he came into the league, really hasn't shown that he's anything more than sort of a slightly above average starter at the position. And that group as a whole for the Saints wasn't great to begin with. So, Todd, I saw you raise your hand. Do you have something I'm missing?
There's some serious hate going on in this game, Shal.
Yeah, I think it's highly inappropriate that we have been talking about Packers-Saints game for 14 minutes now, and we haven't mentioned how great Taysom Hill can be. I think he just has the opportunity to come out here today and take 4, maybe 5 snaps, accumulate a dozen yards or so, and probably 1 turnover at least.
Oh, for sure. And Roby's not even playing today. He still has his suspension, so he won't even.
Oh, that's right.
So we won't even have him.
But Taysom Hill will have one play today that is going to make Packers Twitter melt down.
Oh, 100%.
Always. Guaranteed.
It could be a 3-yard run, and they'll still complain about it. Like, man, that could have been our 3 yards. Yeah.
That's a serious hypothetical question for you. If Jameis Winston comes out in the first half and, let's say, 111 yards throwing, 2 interceptions, doesn't look good, do you think that they go like almost 50-50 Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston? Do they run Taysom Hill out there more? Is there a point where it could get so bad today that they run Taysom Hill out there?
No,
I
I don't
yeah.
think so. I mean,
No?
I think it'd take at least 4 interceptions in the first half, 5 overall. I don't think that, because
So
that's
just like nuclear
if you're-
meltdown has to be.
if you start pulling your preferred starting quarterback at halftime of week 1, Sean Payton's been around long enough to know that's not the move to make.
Yeah, especially someone that is going to need to build confidence going from a backup, now won the starting position. People have questions about him already, and you're going to bench him just because of struggles against a top team week 1. I don't think that's I don't think that's something that'll happen today, unless, like you said, it's a nuclear meltdown.
Right. Like 2015 playoff college football playoff Jameis Winston bad, where he was like 3 turnovers in the first half against Oregon when he was at Florida State. Like that would have to be the absolute worst case scenario for him. And I think even then, I don't think that there's a time that he like absolutely completely benches Jameis Winston. I think that there's a chance that maybe he just runs more Taysom Hill offense, where it's sort of like almost like when they do running back by committee, where it's one running back takes the first set, second running back takes the next one. That would be the only time we see any more Taysom Hill. But I think that's enough. I think it's enough Saints talk. Let's talk about our guys, the Packers people that we actually know and care about. We've said that this is the full complement of starters for the Packers on offense and defense. It's the first time we're going to see Aaron Rodgers in a Packer uniform since that NFC Championship game. What are you guys? Well, let me just start this. What are you expecting out of this offense? Are you anticipating any kind of rust, or do you think that this just comes out and we see the same offense that we saw last year? They pick up right where they left off.
I think they pick up right where they left off. I think if LaFleur hadn't been seeing that in practice, we probably would have seen a little bit more. I don't think we would have seen, Devontae, and it's freaking me out with Dan's video glitching still.
No, I
know. I'm really sorry about that. Should I just go audio? Should I just go straight audio?
No, it's fine.
No,
you're funny.
Okay.
I think we would have seen, a little bit more MVS and a little bit more of the guys in there.
Yeah.
Just the fact that LaFleur didn't see a need to put any of those guys together in the preseason says they're fine with where the offense is at this point.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think there might be some natural regression from last year just because it was such an incredible season and Rodgers was playing at an insane level. But I don't know. I'm more confident that all that gets repeated again than we have some crazy regression from the year previous. And I think just with adding a true slot with Cobb opens up a lot of stuff for the offense. And then I'm really excited about the AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones combo. Jamal and Aaron did so well for the 4 years Jamal was here. And now AJ Dillon's coming in, who is a little bit more of a bruiser than Jamal. And we can see what he can do in the pass game now. The only question I have for the running back room right now is just who's going to step up in pass protection. Like, that's it. Running back talent-wise, I think we have the most talented running back room that we've had in Green Bay for a really long time.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, having that running back to pick up the blitz. Jamal was so good at that, and then increased his ability to contribute to the passing game. The last year or so. I think that's huge. It'll be interesting to see if AJ Dillon is going to be able to pick up some of those protections as well.
Yeah, he has the body for it. No one wants to run into that man.
No,
thick thighs save lives.
Absolutely.
The thing, let's talk about, since we're talking about AJ Dillon and this offense and like the different parts that we're looking for to kind of, show up and kind of explode and take that next step. Let's talk about X Factor for the Packers on offense. Let's focus on offense, because I think for me, an X Factor, I believe, and Todd, you kind of mentioned this on our chat, is Josiah DeGuara. I believe healthy. I believe on this not on the inactive list, and so should be playing today. I'm interested to see how much they run him out there, because we saw those first couple of weeks of the season last year, DeGuara was getting a little bit more. They were progressing him on very nicely, and he was doing everything they asked him to do. And then that injury, took him out for the whole season. He missed so much time in this offense, but now he's had the full off season, a full preseason to practice with everybody. He's been working with Bakhtiari on the rehab and everything. So I think that's for me. If we're talking about X Factor, that's one to keep an eye on is Josiah DeGuara. How much they decide to run him out, and how much they kind of reveal in week one. How much of the offense they decide to kind of show to everybody, especially if things kind of get out of hand.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in there on my buy around for this week, because it was definitely Josiah DeGuara. Just coming off of that injury, be interested to see him get back out there. And I think if the Packers jump out to a big lead, we'll see more of him as they, try to rest Tunyon and Big Dog as much as they can, especially in that heat. I'm sure they'll be cycling through a lot of those big guys as much as they can.
Honestly, yeah, I think the heat too, like you just mentioned, that might be an X factor in and of itself. Like it gets so hot in Jacksonville, especially on the field. There's going to be fans back in the stands now, which is going to create more in that area. It's going to be interesting to see what that's going to do to them. Like you said, they're just going to be having to use more bodies. But an offensive X factor that I have is Randall Cobb. More so just I'm excited to see him back in Green Bay. It's his first game back with the team. He wrote that article for Player Tribune, and he's saying it feels like it's a movie. Like what happens in a movie, him coming back to the team. So I can't wait to see what he does. Like I mentioned before, we finally have a true slot to put in this offense, which Matt LaFleur can do who knows what with. That man's an offensive genius. So hopefully we see Cobb the best he's ever been, rejuvenated in a new Packers offense with still the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think
sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Well, I was just going to say, Todd, since I kind of stepped on yours, I think another one to look for is Amari Rodgers, because like Jimmy, what you were saying with the Heat, do they rotate in more of these guys on offense? Do we see kind of more of a spread count, the snap count kind of spread out between players? And does Amari Rodgers see more time today in slot, kind of him and Randall Cobb? I'm interested to see what that split is between the two.
Yeah. How much do you think we'll see him, Todd?
I think the heat might play a little bit of factor, but I don't think it's going to increase his touches. We saw what this offense looked like last year when we had, like Swerve and Irvin in there, and had that ability to get a guy in motion. It was a completely different looking offense and really put a lot of defenses on their heels. So I think just having Amari Rodgers in there working that back and forth, I would guess he gets maybe 5 touches, a couple there, maybe one in the pass game or so. But I don't think it's going to increase his exposure in the passing game today. I don't feel like him and Rodgers have really had a strong connection on that one.
Yeah. Do you think that Rodgers is going to be someone that later on this season is going to be a player that gets a lot more tick? Or do you think it's just this year he's not going to be on the field as much, but maybe next year will be the time where he can kind of shine?
I think next year we'll see more of him. This year it'll be tough. As the season goes on and he gets more reps with Rodgers, and they can kind of get on the same page. And, we've seen it with a lot of receivers that come in. You look around the league and there's a lot of guys that step in year one, but most of those guys have younger quarterbacks that they're working with. You look at, guys that take time to develop, and it's usually year 3 they take off. In Green Bay, it seems more like it's year 4, just because it takes that little bit extra to get in sync with Aaron. So I think it'll be more next year, but I think as the year goes on, he'll definitely start contributing more.
Yeah, the Packers wide receiver room really went from one that was just saying people like we didn't have talent, and now it seems like we have one of the deeper wide receivers in the league. Like we have 6 wide receivers who really could step on anytime and make a legit contribution. I think Allen Lazard plays like a vital role for the running game, but I think he went from being arguably the second best at some points to now he might be towards the bottom of that. That's just how much this wide receiver room has grown over the last little bit over a season.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing for Allen Lazard. Like, it just means that the other talent that we've expected to kind of step up and fill those roles are. And Allen Lazard, we kind of know where he is, and other guys have just sort of risen their ceiling above him, And I think, too, with the Amari Rodgers thing, it all goes back to what, like, Todd, exactly what you're saying, is your connection with Aaron Rodgers. If you develop that early on and quickly, and he feels more comfortable with you, he's going to force you into this offense more. That's just like we saw it with Allen Lazard 2 years ago. Allen Lazard was stepping up, and they made the push to push him into the offense more. So that's all the key. And so we'll see today how much they run him into it. The defense guys, real quick, just what are you looking for out of them? What's the X factor for you today? For me, it's the pass rush, because I feel like the secondary can hang with any of the wide receivers the Saints decide to run out there. If they can get a pass rush and force Jameis to be uncomfortable, there's no chance for this offense to work, I think.
100%. And I think Z is going to be a big part of that, of how healthy is he actually? Like, at some point,
right,
him going out there with limited ability is going to hurt the pass rush more than anything, because we still do have Preston, we still have Rashawn. So at one point, do you kind of like make that determination? Like, is it actually Darius out there, or is he just fighting through too much of an injury?
Right.
So seeing what happens with him is going to be big.
Yeah, I'm looking at the secondary, specifically Kevin King, looking for him to come out, have a big showing here. We've heard him, his press conference. He wanted to come back, especially after that NFC Championship game. Didn't want to leave town with that. I think he can step in today and really start to build on a Pro Bowl season here.
Doubling down on that, huh?
I'm not letting it go.
At what point do you think you're going to let that go? Or could it be week? Obviously, after the voting, you'll have to, but like, could he just end up getting benched and you'll still be convinced he'll be a Pro Bowler?
I'm going to remind you of this conversation when I'm at the Pro Bowl talking to Kevin King while he's playing.
You're talking to
he
him
won't
while
actually
he's
be
playing
because we're going to be in the Super Bowl, so it's not a big deal. But
yeah,
he'll be a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
All right. Let's start wrapping this up, guys, because we are just about little more than a half hour away from kickoff there down in Jacksonville. Let's finish with some real quick predictions. Just give me a score and a winner. Who wins today and by how much, Jimmy?
Packers win today. I think it's going to be a pretty, I don't want to say easy, but I think we handle business effectively. It's going to be Packers 34, Saints 24.
No confidence in this defense. I'm going Packers 38-13.
Oh shit.
Wow.
It's not going to be close.
All right. I like it. I think this looks a lot like some of those early games last year where things stayed close in the first half, and the second half they kind of pull away a little bit. I think it ends up about like 31-14 or 31-17, somewhere around there is what I was thinking. Was it stays close at the half, and then in the second half I think things kind of bust wide open a little bit more and the Packers take control. But I think we're all in agreement, no matter what the final score, the Packers should be on paper a pretty decent favorite, and I think win this game with not much trouble. So make sure you're sticking around with us. If you haven't yet already, subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get notification when we go live after the game with the post route and everything else. You can catch all three of us every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, on our regular show here in Lombardi's Bar every Wednesday. So make sure you check us out then. But until then, guys, it was great to talk to you pregame before week number 1. Packer fans, enjoy the first week of the Super Bowl championship season for the Green Bay Packers. We'll see you after the game.
Bye.
See ya.